This is Lady Sharona again with another tarot tip for you. And tonight we're going to have a quick little look at the Eight of Cups. Okay, and on the surface doesn't seem that difficult. We see somebody walking away from something that he thought he had established, something he thought he had loved, and he turns his back and walks away on it. On the surface that looks very easy, but in interpretation it is quite multidimensional, and it's often very difficult to explain to a client, for example, what this card really means is. Because if you're doing it in a reading in the context of a relationship, and this card comes up at the end, it means that there is a separation. And of course, you know, most people don't want to see that if they're having a relationship reading. But the point of the matter is, the Eight of Cups is always moving on to something better. Okay? So it's never a breakup in the sense of, oh my God, you're going to be really heartbroken and this is not good for you and you're going to be sad. It's always, you have to move on. Okay? It's also a card of leaving a situation naturally, walking away from something. Walking away from something that's not necessarily good for you, and that doesn't have to be a relationship. You might be walking away from a job that is no good for you, or even an abode, a home, a town that is no good for you, a city that is no good for you, or maybe a job that is no good for you. But this card always shows you taking the lead and walking away. Maybe not necessarily willingly at first, but for your much higher and better good. And in its more arcane and deeper meaning, it is seeing the whole truth of the world. In other words, if you look at the myth of Eros and Psyche, for example, when Psyche realizes that Eros is not exactly who she thinks, she goes to the underworld to discover exactly whom she has married and why. And it's a great voyage of learning for her, and actually they do reunite. So this card is not necessarily saying that a separation is forever, but it is a card of separating for your own personal higher good and consciousness and learning. So the Eight of Cups, don't look at it as a bad card. It may feel a little melancholy, but in actual fact, this is you or your client taking a big step towards understanding their karma, the universe, and themselves, and moving on to something much, much better. Even if it's to come back to the same place, they'll come back with a greater awareness and understanding. And that, my friends, is the Eight of Cups.